Welcome to Joseph-Beth Booksellers. We're so excited you're here, and we're so excited to have John Erardi here. Can we give him a warm welcome?
Okay, this is Tony's home in Central Violeta. It's a 3-bedroom house, pretty small. 6 kids. Tony was the youngest of 6. I think his dad had Tony when his dad was maybe 45 or 46. And Tony's dad was not a ball player. He was just a sugar factory worker. But Tony got every one of his genes because he was the mellowest guy in Central Violeta. And Tony, as you know, was the same very well. Tony's school, which is 3 blocks away from his home. This is the ballpark, which was built the same year as Riverfront State in 1970. So Tony didn't play here, but he played in a vacant lot that was here. Okay, Bobby Maduro grew up in a town called, I think, Central Cunagua, about 11 miles from where Tony grew up. He's about 10 years older than Tony. He founded and built the stadium for the Havana Sugar Kings, which was the AAA affiliate to the Cincinnati Reds from 1954 to 1960. Basically, Cincinnati owned the island as far as baseball players go. In 1956, these 5 guys went to training camp with the Reds in Douglas, Georgia for a tryout. Leo Cardenas, Cookie Rojas, help me out here, Larry, the pitcher with the Orioles, Mike Cuellar, Tony Gonzalez, and Tony Taylor. Between those 5 or 6 guys, they played 70 years in the big leagues. The Reds had all of them. By 1960, Castro had come to power. The club had to relocate to Newark, New Jersey. Only lasted, a year and a half, whatever it was. Didn't draw very well. He had to leave Cuba, lost all his money, had nothing left behind. And everybody I've talked to in the States who was Cuban-born, if they're over 60 years old, they mention 1961 and 1962 because that's the year they left Cuba with their shirt on their back and nothing else. Tony Perez here. Martin Diego Jr., son of the great Martin Diego Sr., who was the Cuban Babe Ruth. He's in the Hall of Fame, but was not a major leaguer because of the color line. This here is Pete Rose. Pete Rose was on the same team. And my favorite story about Pete Rose is he was 5 weeks late getting to Geneva, New York that year, Tony's first year in professional baseball. Pete walks into the clubhouse. He's there about maybe 5 minutes before game time. The manager says, "Who are you?" Pete doesn't say, "I'm Pete Rose from Cincinnati. Sorry, I'm late. Westside graduated in early June." What he says is, "Who am I? I'm your new second baseman." How about that for an introduction? The old second baseman, and I say old because he was 18 years old, was none other than Tony Perez. And that had to be the only time in baseball history where, and I call Pete Rose a Hall of Famer, he was not in the Hall, that had to be the first time that one Hall of Famer replaced another at the same position in rookie ball. Because what happened was the night that Pete arrived, the club was in a losing streak. They had committed something like 16 errors in the last 5 games. The manager was at wit's end. That night, Tony Perez, second baseman, went behind first base to catch a pop-up, as will happen, and he dropped the ball. The ball was hit by none other than the great Richie Allen, who probably should be in the Hall of Fame. The manager saw that. He said, "This guy, Tony Perez, is a butcher. I'm going to make that kid that just came here tonight profit. That is my new second baseman." He put Tony on the disabled list, which is the first time it ever happened in Tony's career, and the last time, by the way. 23 years in the major league. No disabled list. Tony was not hurt. Went on the DL for 2 weeks. Came back as a third baseman and made the major leagues. What? 4 years later as a first baseman, but played most of his early career between, say, 1967 and certainly 1971, so 5 good years as a third baseman. I copied every one of Frank's mannerisms. He would go to Frank's room on the road and would talk hitting. And I said, "Well, you sure you copied every mannerism?" He said, "Well, look at this picture. We got the hands crossed the same way." And I guarantee you one thing, Frank wasn't copying Tony Perez. Cooperstown, New York, 2000. David Concepcion in the background. I'm very happy. Tony Perez, Hall of Famer, after 9 tries on the ballot. By the way, Greg Gages, who is here tonight, is my numbers guy. He looked up some things for me which are very interesting, which had people known this 18 years ago, it wouldn't have taken Tony 9 years to make the Hall of Fame. The big stat of Tony's was he's tied for among the top 5 contemporary hitters Hall of Fame for the highest percentage of runners driven in at any point in the game, runner on base. First inning, last inning, Tony drove at 18% of them. Nobody ever drove in more. 5 guys are tied with 18%. The important stat is that in the late innings, it's called late and close. By the way, Tony's batting average was 279. In runners in scoring position, it was 285, so it was a little bit better. Late in the game, with his team either tied or run behind, his batting average was 300. That's the second best differential between his regular batting average and his late and close batting average, which was 21 points. The only guy who was better than that was Roberto Clemente, who was Tony Perez's idol along with Manny Mendoza. So there goes one of the great, truly late inning performers in baseball history.